Okay, so this is my presentation about the Fulton Mall, and I chose River Park as well to kind of compare the two and see how they stood socially. So we're going to take a look at both. Let me know. You can let me know. I'm just going to start sharing my screen and hopefully it works. Perfect. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the independent social side of society. And so the Fulton Mall is a downtown Fresno mall. And what happens there is that from what I saw when I went, is it was vacant. There was not really anybody really walking in the mall. It's all an outdoor mall, and you could pace up and down the streets, and there wasn't really many people. The people that we did encounter were people who were homeless, and they were kind of riding bikes mostly. They had lots of different things that they were carrying with them. There was one guy that had like a mask over his face, which kind of scared me a little bit, not gonna lie. And we had but then we did find something that they had going on. They had like a little event down there, and it was a like an ice skating rink. It was pretty cool. So we got to see that. And so all the buildings there were pretty plain. They didn't have any paint jobs, nothing on them. The buildings that were painted were usually like parking garages and on the side of them. And it was not so much like graffiti art as they wrote down, it's more like a mural they made. It was pretty cool because we saw murals of like if I die, and people got to write down everything that they wanted to do before they died, and it was pretty cool. Like there were people who wanted to travel, people who didn't, who wanted revenge, and like it just varied on what kind of answers that they were going to put there. And on the other side, there was still a mural being made, and it was pretty cool. And all the people that were interacting there, they were just enjoying each other's company. It was very family oriented. There was young kids there to adults. It was a very small, little enclosed area. It was fenced off from the rest of the Fulton Mall, and it was just like kind of protected and very festive. There was holiday vibes, and just a handful of people were there. It was like it felt full because of how small the environment was, but not a lot of people were out. And you can see even when you're walking down the Fulton Mall, I saw one other family walking, and yeah, it was just very vacant. We went into a couple of stores, and there were people not really exploring them at the time. It was later in it wasn't late. It was around like 6 o'clock, but still it was getting dark, so not a lot of people were out at that time anymore. And so yes, that's what we noticed about that one. Then we went on to River Park. River Park is more uptown, and this is more of a higher society, I would say, but it's just because of the stores themselves are more popular. And so they have like Victoria's Secret is over here, you have Macy's over here, you have Target is around the corner, like all of these big name stores. And so it brings a lot more people to it. And because of that, it usually brings a higher crowd, but the night that we went, you could tell that it was not like the most like its usual crowd of people. So it was pretty, that one felt like upper, no, wait, not upper. That one felt like lower middle class, whereas Fulton Mall had surprisingly upper middle class people there. But it was just like a small handful of people there. And it was primarily a working class environment. But the people who were at that ice rink were upper middle class people. You could tell by the way that they were dressed and like how they were talking and stuff like that. So, anyways, River Park had lower middle class people there, and it was like an event was going on. I wasn't sure what kind of event was happening there, but there was people who were kind of like singing and dancing, and it was a lot of fun, and it brought a large crowd of families there, and the big cultural background was primarily African American people were there, and it was highly populated, like so many people were there. There was they were like singing like this birthday song to this kid. It was a lot of fun to watch. But everybody was participating, everybody was engaging with somebody, everybody was just interacting. It wasn't like at Fulton Mall where people were only interacting with the ones that they brought and like that was it. This one was everybody knew somebody, everybody was talking, or everybody wanted to interact, and they wanted to participate in activities, and it was very engaging. It was different. And so that was that one over there. So some of the differences that I listed and some of the similarities were that the differences of Fulton Mall was more like a ghost town, whereas River Park was overcrowded. They had a lot of painting based buildings there. And whereas River Park was more somebody professionally painted those things and it looked nice and it was fine. Then you go to Fulton again, and there's a lower working class usually lives there. But for that specific time, that event, it was upper middle class was there. Whereas at River Park, it was balanced to what it usually has. And so this was the lower middle class people that usually go there. During the day, you'll get more upper class people there. And so some of the similarities that we saw was that both of the malls are outdoor malls. So that means that you can walk through the whole place and it's not all encased in an enclosed building like Sierra Vista is. This one was like everybody was everywhere and you had to walk and you get to choose like, oh, I want to go inside Victoria's Secret, but then I'm going to walk across the street and then I'm going to go inside of whatever's across the street from there, like a candle store or whatever. And same thing at Fulton. You could walk inside of a restaurant and then the next thing you know, you're walking out and you're walking into a dance studio. And so that was another thing too. The stores were very different there. Fulton had a lot more restaurant-based stores and a lot of I would say like city vibe things that you need, like wanted to go to learning to dance. That was something that we came across. You'll see a lot of pop culture things, pawn stores, whereas River Park had more uh, popular today items. But anyways, some of the similarities were that they're both large. They're both malls that have a diverse range of people. Let's see. So to move forward with this, with a project that I had in mind would be a keepsake. And so I would say thinking about what brings diverse cultures together. And I love the idea of a mall doing that. And I love the idea of an outdoor mall. And so what we were thinking is that we would propose to renovate something that looked like the Fulton Mall in downtown Fresno to attract more people there. And to do that, I would say, do our best to kind of control the crime rate area and like what goes on there and advertise it more, kind of like talk more about downtown Fresno because not a lot of people know what goes on over there. They're already renovating it a lot too, and it's starting to look a lot better and it's starting to feel a lot safer, but still people just don't talk about it enough. And if people don't go enough over there, then it's kind of a neglected town. So kind of like trying to bring back life to Fresno and hosting more events there, like River Park had done, like creating like big interactive things for people. I think that was pretty cool. And like being able to do more of that would involve different ranges of people to come together and care about where they're from. And so, yeah.